Welcome back. There are just 10 days to go before government's R1.50 fuel tax relief ends. The general fuel levy was temporarily cut to cushion fuel price increases. But the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse is calling for the relief to be extended. Let's get more from Outa CEO Wayne Duvenage. Wayne, thank you. Always great to speak to you. As South Africans are always glad for some respite from the soaring cost of living, and we know that fuel prices have a major impact on the price of food and other goods. But what's the longer-term impact of delaying the end to this fuel tax relief? Is it not going to come back and bite us later?
Well, not necessarily, and not if the government and the Minister of Finance can introduce a lower levy for some time. You know, the combined impact of the levies is over 10 Rand per litre. And our petrol price in total was around 10 Rand per litre just over 10 years ago. So we'll never get back there because the taxes already are too high. So this gives them an opportunity, we believe, because there have been, these incessant increases well above inflation for far too long. This might be an opportunity for him to pull those levies back and keep this for a longer term. Now, we understand the impact on government is around 2.8 billion Rand per month, but we do believe that the Minister of Finance and government in general can dig deep to find the savings for the taxpayer, for the entire country, by the way, because everybody suffers as a result of petrol, and diesel, which is now going to cross the 25 Rand per litre mark.
How long would you want government to extend this relief for?
Well, for as long as the combined impacts of the weaker Rand and the international oil prices are going to push the price of petrol above 25 Rand or 23 Rand for that matter. The minute we start going into that space, the impact is devastating on transport costs. Transport companies are struggling. The costs, they pass these costs on. These are a large portion of their total cost. These then go directly onto the price of food. The commuters are paying heavily now. Just getting to and from work on taxis is going to be exacerbated by this problem. So we would like to see this ongoing until the international factors or until the Rand strengthens and brings the price back down to around the 20 Rand mark.
So we know that this is a request. If the minister says no, what then?
Well, he has the powers to make these calls and to make these changes. Recently he did the call of civil society not to increase the tax every year. They push up these taxes in the road accident fund. So this year, for the first time, he didn't. And I think we have a minister, Godongwana, who's listening, and he did reduce the levy 2 months ago. We believe that, if he looks his colleagues in the eye, if the president and everybody gets together, there's a lot of maladministration, there's a lot of misspending, a lot of unnecessary spending. We look at the flagpole incident, and I know that's only 22 million, but there must be many incidences like that happening every day and every month in government. We believe government can now start spending prudently, start to look at zero-based budgeting and reduce the cost to the citizens in this country so that we can ease this pain that has crept up over decades now, and now we're feeling the bite.
As you said a little earlier, an end to the fuel tax relief at the end of May would mean it coincides with another jump in the fuel price, which would push the price of petrol to beyond 25 Rand a litre. Do you see that coming down anytime soon, or will it likely just continue to climb? Because we've seen the impact of international events leading necessarily to jumps, but then, sometimes a calming of international pressures doesn't necessarily lead to a reduction.
Yeah, exactly. But, we've been there before. I mean, if you go back to 2008, the oil price was at $130 a barrel. In 2011, in August, September, October, it was where it is right now, at $110, $111, $114 a barrel. So it's not like we haven't been there before, but the Rand was a lot stronger. We were at 7 and 8 Rand to the dollar, and that's our problem. We have a very weak Rand now. It was 14 Rand recently. It's now at 16, if we can get government policy, economic policy, to look at investment opportunities, to get the investment environment right in this country, strengthen the rand. That is one way to bring the cost of oil down or the cost of petrol down. And then obviously, they push these levies high. So this is another opportunity, get the government to reverse some of those levies, find possibly other avenues to cover the road accident fund costs. And then hopefully the international oil price starts to ease. That way we can get the petrol prices and diesel prices back down to the 15 and 17 rands per litre. So we hope the minister does heed this request, if not to ease that pain over some time and not just allow it to come back and hit us in 1 month at the end of this month.
Wayne, on the news, we regularly hear of our President, Cyril Ramaphosa, having these investment indabas with international investors. And the news that comes out of that always seems quite positive, that there is a move towards, foreign interest in South Africa. S&P have also just upgraded our outlook from stable to positive. Surely that's another positive step. But when do we see all of these, fragmented events coming together to actually make a tangible difference to our rand?
Well, it's going to need implementation. We've got a lot of good ideas and good potential policies, but we don't see them coming to fruition fast enough. And I think, mining is one of those big areas where we can, and our GDP has single-digit figures when it comes to mining. It should be in the double-digit figures. We should be well ahead of where we are. The SAMRAD, the mining administration system, is in a mess. So I think government needs to become more serious about, creating an investment environment in this country. This leads to cabinet members who have to set the tone right. We don't see that coming, effectively from Gwede Mantashe and the Minister of Energy and Environment, and other environmental matters. So I think there's so much that can and should be done. We pay a lot of lip service, but we don't actually get down to the brass tacks of implementation.
Thank you so much for your insights. That was Outa CEO Wayne Duvenage.